What's up, folks? You're tuned into Real Reviews with Ryan Stark, your go-to spot for honest takes, nostalgic throwbacks, and the occasional friendly roast. I'm your host, Ryan Stark, and today we're cracking open a double dose of 2012 fairy tale cinema, Snow White and the Huntsman and Mirror Mirror. Yes, two Snow White movies in the same year. Was the world really asking for that? Apparently, Hollywood thought so. Now, this episode comes with a bit of backstory. My good friend Leroy Jones, co-host of the Leroy and Elena show, dropped an episode a few months ago comparing these two films. And I've got to be honest, Leroy, I love you, man, but you gave Mirror Mirror way too much credit. So, today's episode is my response, and a bit of a course correction. Before we dive in, a quick shout out if you're a fan of quirky characters, unexpected mashups, and pop culture chaos, go subscribe to the PrincessToyNerd YouTube channel. Trust me, it's your new obsession waiting to happen. Alright, on to the show. Let's start with the basics. Mirror Mirror, directed by Tarsem Singh, came out in March 2012. Snow White and the Huntsman, directed by Rupert Sanders, followed in June that same year. Both films attempt to modernize the classic Grimm brothers fairy tale, but in wildly different ways. Mirror Mirror stars Lily Collins as Snow White and Julia Roberts as the evil queen. It goes for this bright, colorful, almost Wes Anderson meets Bollywood aesthetic. It wants to be campy, it wants to be quirky. But most of all, it wants to be clever. And here's the kicker, it just isn't. Snow White and the Huntsman, on the other hand, stars Kristen Stewart, fresh off her Twilight fame, and Charlize Theron as Queen Ravenna. It's dark, gritty, and leans heavily into the fantasy action angle. There's a war. There's a magical forest. There's Chris Hemsworth swinging an axe. It's not perfect, but at least it knows what it is. Let's talk Mirror Mirror first. This movie was a flop, and for a very good reason. Don't get me wrong, Lily Collins is charming. She really tries. But the script hands her nothing to work with. Julia Roberts, who we all know can kill a role with the right material, ends up chewing scenery with this weird half-accent and forced comedy. The dwarves? They're renamed and rebranded as bandits, which, okay, creativity points, I guess. But the tone is so inconsistent it feels like you're watching a dress rehearsal that never got polished. Also, can we talk about the ending dance number? I swear, if I wanted a Bollywood music video, I'd go watch one. This didn't feel earned. It felt like the director said, screw it, we need something for the trailer. Now, Snow White and the Huntsman wasn't exactly a masterpiece either. Kristen Stewart got a lot of flack, and some of it was deserved. Her Snow White spends a lot of time with her mouth slightly open and her eyebrows furrowed. Not the most emotive performance. But here's where it wins: tone, world building, and the villain. Charlize Theron devours this role. She's powerful, broken, terrifying, and absolutely hypnotic. The visual effects are stunning, especially the enchanted forest sequence. The costume design slaps. The battle scenes are fun. And while the story sometimes drags and the love triangle never fully lands, it's clear this film wanted to be Lord of the Rings for the fairy tale crowd. It didn't quite get there, but at least it showed up to play. Now here's the kicker. You know who told the best Snow White story in 2012? Once Upon a Time. That's right. ABC's TV show, which ran from 2011 to 2018, absolutely nails the character of Snow White. Ginnifer Goodwin's portrayal gives us a well-rounded, fierce, emotionally intelligent Snow. She fights. She teaches. She loves. She rules, literally and figuratively. The show took the time to explore Snow's relationship with the evil queen, Regina, played by Lana Parrilla, and turned it into something far more layered than either of the 2012 films attempted. It wasn't just good versus evil, it was heartbreak, betrayal, forgiveness, and redemption. So, while Snow White and the Huntsman got the aesthetics right, and Mirror Mirror tried to be witty and failed, Once Upon a Time understood the emotional core of Snow White, and that made all the difference. So why did Mirror Mirror flop while Snow White and the Huntsman did okay? Marketing played a part. Huntsman sold itself as a dark fantasy for teens and adults. Mirror Mirror couldn't decide if it was for kids or for adults who like theater camp. Also, timing. Huntsman rode the wave of Kristen Stewart's post-Twilight fame. People were curious. Mirror Mirror was released earlier and got buried under bad reviews. But most importantly, Huntsman had ambition. Messy ambition, sure. But ambition nonetheless. Mirror Mirror had costumes and camp, but no heart. So, to wrap it up, 2012 gave us two Snow Whites. One was a fashion show masquerading as a fairy tale. The other was a dark, flawed but sincere epic. Neither was perfect, but only one was worth remembering. And yet, a TV show with a network budget outshined them both. Go figure. Thanks for listening, folks. If you liked this episode, hit that subscribe button and leave a review. And don't forget, always support indie creators. Go check out the Leroy and Elena show, even if I had to set Leroy straight today. And if you haven't already, seriously go subscribe to PrincessToyNerd on YouTube. It's chaos in the best way. Until next time, I'm Ryan Stark, and this has been Real Reviews. Stay real.